Parakrama Samudra, or King Parakrama's Sea, or the Sea of King Parakrama, is a shallow reservoir, wewa, consisting of 5 separate wewas, Topa, Damutalulu, Erebadu, Bu, Kalahagala tanks, connected by narrow channels in Polonnaruwa, Sri Lanka. The northernmost reservoir is the oldest and referred to as Tapa Wewa. Sinhalese Wewa is almost equal to English word lake or reservoir, but used unique Sri Lankan technology, built around 396 AD, 1000. The middle section, Aramudu Wewa, and the southernmost portion at the highest elevation is Dumbatula Wewa. Both sections were added and the reservoir expanded during the reign of King Parakramabahu the First. 2. This Wewa was built under the, quote, "Do not let even a drop of rainwater in this country to go to the sea without use." The Wewa was so large it was called Samudraya, which means the ocean.
First 3 caves were built here, namely Vijjadhara Cave, Nissanna Patima Cave, and Nissanna Patima Cave. Another cave with a standing statue was built during the Polonnaruwa period. 2 types of caves are found here, caves with brick walls on 3 sides and caves dug out of the rock. To create this, about 17 feet of the face of the rock was cut for the dug cave and about 15 feet for the other pillars. The last pillar is covered in the second book, and it was called the Mammon Pillar.
The first thing you will see when entering this temple complex is the Vijjadhara Cave. The theme here is the Buddha Mandala, which symbolizes the universal Dharmakaya, and some say that this place may have been used for the chanting of mantras in Tantric Buddhism. On the ground floor of a 3-story building, on a seat decorated with vajra designs and lion figures, a seated statue is carved with the Samadhi mudra and the Veerasana posture on a blooming lotus flower. It is believed to have been painted in the early days and is about 15 feet and 2 inches high from the seat to the hilt. The Rashma series is carved behind the head of the Buddha statue. The head is designed with a slightly round face and a narrow forehead, curly hair turned to the right, and a thin hilt.
The main monument that everyone who visits the ruins of Polonnaruwa and makes a pilgrimage to see and worship is the Gal Viharaya, which is always seen and greatly admired. The Uttararamaya, built by King Parakramabahu the Great in Polonnaruwa in the 12th century, is today known as the Gal Viharaya. The Uttararamaya complex is a magnificent creation of several statues carved into a sloping rock on each side, about 56 yards long. Lieutenant Fagan, Samuel Baker, J.W. Birch, and R.W. Stuart, who first photographed these ruins during the colonial period, have made descriptive notes about the Gal Viharaya. In 1907, the then Commissioner of Archaeology noted that no other temple comparable to this could be found on the Indian continent.
The Rashmi series is carved behind the head of the Buddha statue. The head is designed with a slightly round face and a narrow forehead, curly hair turned to the right, and a thin hilt. The carved statue with half-open eyes is able to highlight and show the inner qualities of the Buddha, such as his great compassion. The back of the seat's decorated with cross-shaped pillars, dragon mouths, lion figures, and lotus flowers. On both sides of the second and third floors of the building are 4 small Dhyani Buddha statues. These statues are said to be the Buddhas Amitabha, Amagosiddhi, Akshobha, and Ratnasambhava of Mahayana Buddhism. The roof is made up of turrets.
Next is the Nissanna Patima Ghulha, or the Sitting Statue Cave. Here, a 4 feet 4 inch tall Buddha statue, seated on a vajrasana under a canopy in the meditation posture, is carved from the rock. The statue is flanked by 2 figures holding Vijjani patas. On either side of the statue's head are carved images of the gods Brahma and Vishnu. The walls of the cave were decorated with murals. Remains of the murals can still be seen on either side of the entrance. The remains of the murals can still be seen on either side of the entrance. The depiction of an old deity holding a conch in his hand is believed to be the image of chakra. And it is believed that this represents chakra meeting the Buddha in the Indrasala Cave.
The foundation of a pavilion in front of this cave is also visible. After passing the sitting statue cave, one can see a medieval Sinhala inscription made during the reign of King Parakramabahu the Great. It contains a discourse or a set of Vinaya rules prepared by the Venerable Maha Kassapa Thero at the invitation of King Parakramabahu the Great. In the discourse/instruction guide/discourse/review, second verse says this strat. Next is the standing statue. It is about 23 feet tall and is carved on a lotus seat in Abhanga posture. The body is slightly bent with the arms folded across the chest with the right shoulder exposed. This statue appears to have been made later in the Polonnaruwa period. The chronicles state that King Parakramabahu commissioned only 2 statues in a sitting posture and 1 in a reclining posture. Another popular type of statue, the standing statue, may have been carved later to fill the empty space. There is also disagreement as to whether this is the statue of the Buddha or of Ananda Thoreau. Dr. D.T. Devendra, S.M. Barros, ADB, scholars such as Pereira are of the opinion that the other statue here represents the parinirvana of the Buddha, and this statue is of Ananda Thoreau, who is grieving over the parinirvana of the Buddha. Scholars such as Senarat Parinavathana, Pri Mathalaka, Gorokumbura, Ratha Nasara Thero, and Umalakuti Thero, who do not accept this opinion, state that this statue is carved in the position of a blooming lotus and with the characteristic of a great man with curly hair, which is directed to the right because it is a statue of the Buddha. There are also several opinions regarding the seal of this statue. There are different opinions that this seal represents the mudras of Paradukkha Dukkita, Ani Misalochana, Swastika, Ratanagara, Avadana, and Varahungara. It is not acceptable that the Buddha was grieving over the suffering of others. The face of the statue does not appear to be sad, but rather a smile. There are also remains of a brick base, which suggests that this statue was in a separate cave. Therefore, it is reasonable to consider this as a statue made with the Hadana mudra, which expresses the great compassion of the Buddha. The other Buddha statue in this temple complex, known as the Nissanna Patima Cave, which has a separate entrance and 2 windows, is about 47 feet long and is carved in a reclining position on the right side of a couch. The pillow placed at the head is made in a slightly depressed manner with a lion's face, and the left foot on the right foot is slightly moved back. Only lotus flowers are carved on the feet. The abdomen is slightly raised forward and 3 wrinkles are shown. The 2 hands are lowered to the level of the clavicle. The eyes are half open. The left hand is shown as lying lifeless on the body. The head is slightly tilted back. The robe is wrapped and the ends appear to be rubbed on the ground. Due to these features, Ananda Kumaraswamy, Dr. Senarath Dissanayakoi, and others believe that this is a statue depicting parinirvana. Some say that this is a normal reclining posture and not a posture indicating parinirvana. Sandra Wikramagamege, Senarath Paranavatana, Charles Gadakumbura, and Thirunagamaratanasara Thero are of the opinion that this is a reclining statue depicting the Buddha in the lion pose. They are of the opinion that this temple complex contains statues that depict the 3 postures that are the subject matter of Buddha statues. In addition to these statues, several stone pillars are visible behind the reclining statue. It is believed that a statue of the goddess may have been enshrined here as well. In the past, the idol here has been seen being draped with robes and various things placed on other idols, By doing this, they are underestimating the value of these religious monuments. It is also an injustice to local and foreign scholars, pilgrims, and tourists who come to visit these places to study the art and history of Sri Lanka, who spend their time and money going there to learn about our landscape and our history and for better understanding of culture. So it is a plea that if a devotee wants to offer something, it is not understood that it is a form of respect to place it on the seat in front of the idol instead of on the idol. This, which has been designated as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO since 1982, is a sacred site and an art gallery that we must protect.